This tutorial will provide an overview of how to create breakout rooms for synchronous instruction in Microsoft Teams. You can easily set up multiple instructional classes and groups in this platform. This will be an important skill to learn for your live online instruction. When you create a new team in Microsoft, you are actually creating a group of people. In this case, the people are the students in your class. You can easily meet with them on a regular basis and share resources such as files right within your team. You can also create video channels in Stream, and then share those channels directly with your students within your team's meeting time. Here are my current teams. We will create a new team later in the video, but for now, let's take a closer look at this team, Hogwarts Potions class. Within this class, I have created 4 breakout rooms. Over here on the left, Gryffindor, Hufflepuff, Ravenclaw, and Slytherin. Microsoft refers to these rooms as channels, and that is what they are called in the team settings. It is important to remember that until Microsoft releases a new update, they only allow a teacher to open up to 4 live meetings at once. That means as the moderator of the small group breakout rooms, you will probably not want to offer more than 4 small groups at any given time. For whole group instruction, you can open your general meeting room, click the Meet button, and then Meet Now at any specified time that your kids know that they're coming to class. Then you can allow your students to go into breakout rooms in small groups as you moderate what is happening in all of them. For example, say you have 20 students in your class. You could have 4 open breakout rooms or channels set up in your team. Then students could break up into small groups of 5 for about 15 minutes, have them set a timer at home, and have them meet you back in the general room when the time is up. As the teacher, you can pop back and forth in between the rooms while your students are working to check for on-task behavior and to answer any questions that they might have, similar to how you would monitor the group's progress in your own classroom. So to summarize, I'll stick with my Harry Potter theme. In this analogy, a team is your classroom, just like Potions class. The general meeting would be equivalent to whole group instruction. And a breakout room or channel would be where small groups of students could go to collaborate on their learning. For instruction, I can use breakout rooms to flexibly group my students, providing them with a chance to collaborate on projects, assignments, or discussions in a small group setting, even though they're learning in an online environment. On the screen, you can see that there's a lock on room 1 Gryffindor and room 3 Ravenclaw. We'll discuss this more later in the video, but when you first create a channel, you'll have to think about how you would like to set up your class. Would you rather have an environment where students can choose their own groups and the group members are flexible? Or would you like to pre-assign your students to a specific room ahead of time? This needs to be considered when you first create the breakout room, or you'll have to completely delete it and create a brand new one later. The decision to pre-assign students to a locked room or let them choose their own groups cannot be changed. If you choose private, where each room is accessible only to a specific group of students within the team, it's important to know that the members do not have to permanently stay in that channel. You can change the students you assign to a room by deleting and adding their names to each channel at any time. All you have to do is click the kebab next to the room that you would like to change, Manage Channel, click Members and Guests, and you'll see the list of students who are in that locked channel. To delete a member, all you have to do is click the X. Now I would like to add that student to a new group, so I would click the kebab to the right of the room I'm going to add him to, Manage Channel, or Add Members. Either one is okay. Click Add Member, search for the name or the student ID, click Add, and in a couple seconds they'll pop up as a member, and close. These changes happen immediately in the student's view on their iPads. If the rooms are private or locked, students will see the room's name appear in the view only if they're assigned to that room. You can see in this student iPad view that since we removed Sam from Ravenclaw and added him to Gryffindor, he can no longer see Ravenclaw as a possible room choice in this team. That only happens if the rooms are locked. If the rooms are not set as private, students can see all of the breakout rooms as options. So, how is this team created in the first place? Let's build a new class together. First, make sure you are in the Teams tab. Then you're going to go to Create or Join Team, Create Team. You're going to choose Class and add your name. You can always go back and change it later. You can add a description if you like and click Next. In this window, you can add students or additional teachers to your group. It's possible that in the fall, classroom teachers will have students added automatically to their team, but you can also always do that manually as well. I'm going to click Skip for now. And now that we're in this window, I can manage my settings in this team by clicking the kebab or the three dots, Manage Team. And here I can either add or take away members of my team. I can add channels from here and manipulate the settings of the overall team. I can change permissions for different things. I can also add fun stuff or take it away if you don't want to allow emojis, memes, GIFs, and stickers in your student posts. That's something that you would do right there. Okay, now we're going to try adding the breakout rooms. Remember, I'm calling the channels that you're creating rooms because that's what it means when you hear about creating breakout rooms in online meetings. However, you will look for Add Channel in Teams. It's up to you what language you and your school decides to use. So for my first breakout room, I'm going to call it the Room 1, Gryffindor. You can add a description if you like. If you want to pre-assign students to your breakout rooms, then you will choose private. If you would like to leave the room options open for your students so that they can flexibly group themselves and access the rooms for small group instruction whenever they would like to, then you can choose standard. Then you're going to check the box for automatically show this channel in everyone's channel list and click Add. Now let's add the rest of our rooms. Through the magic of technology, our channels are created, and now you can decide whether you want a room or channel to allow messages to be posted by your students. You can change this access at any time by going to the kebab or ellipses or three dots, whatever you're calling them. You click Manage Channel, and then change the permissions to however you would like your students to be able to post or not, how you'd like to moderate that channel. And you can do that individually for each one. Something else you can do to maybe create a theme for your class or spruce it up a little bit is to change the image. You can either upload a picture from your desktop, or you can choose from one of the icons that Microsoft gives you. You can search those by different topics and different grade levels. Click Update. You can also share files with students in your team or with individual breakout rooms. You just have to make sure you are clicked onto the breakout room or the general team that you want to share the files with. You can upload many types of files or create new items in the general group or in the individual channels. If you created a new team as a class, then you have a class materials folder as well. So you would click on files, and you can see that you can upload different files to all of your team members if you're in general directly from your computer, or you can add something new and create it directly here in your team. You can add a new folder to collect materials in. You can add a Word document or a PowerPoint presentation. You can add a form for Excel, which would be like adding a quiz to each. So you could add a different quiz to each room directly through forms. You can also pin important files that you would like to the top of the page. So those are what the students would see first when they go into the files, and it would really make it stand out. All you do is to click on the circle beside the file that you want, go to the kebab, and you can edit the pin. You can move them around once they're already there. So that's just a good way to highlight different files that you're adding to student rooms or the team. Another cool thing is you can link a stream channel that organizes videos. So I built this channel in my stream account, and basically all it does is organize a collection of your videos to a certain place. Then that channel can be shared directly into either your team or into an individual room, and kids can click right up there. So this is just a collection that I made of digital writing prompts for my students. So anytime they need another writing prompt, they know that they can just go into the files here, and instead of clicking another link, all they have to do is find them all in one place in their team. So that's one cool thing that Stream does to organize your videos and share them with your students. Another really important logistical question you have to consider when creating breakout rooms for your students is, how will they access your general team meeting and your breakout meetings? There are a couple different ways to handle this. You can have students join in the moment as a live meeting is taking place, or share a link that you create in Teams or your Outlook calendar. The potential downside to sharing an open join link with your students is that they can join the room anytime they want. You will receive a notification that they have started a meeting on their own, but they do not have to wait for you to join the room. If you have students join a live meeting by simply starting the meeting yourself each time, then the students are only able to join the meeting when you start it from your screen. In this way, you're always sure to manage what is going on in the meeting. On my screen, you can see that 3 meetings have started because this blue camera on the side is on there. So I already have these 3 rooms open. My main meeting where I would do my whole group instruction, and I have 2 breakout rooms open where I could send students to do small group work. If I leave them all open at the same time, I can easily go back and forth between those 3 meetings and check in on the progress of what's going on. If I wanted to add a 4th room to my collection, I would go to that room that I want to start a meeting in. I'm going to do Ravenclaw. I click the Meet button in the corner. I change the title so that I can easily distinguish which room is which when I have them all opened up. So this is Ravenclaw. Click outside of it so it sticks. And you can see that there is an Add a Room button at the bottom. At this point, this doesn't take you anywhere, but it is something that Microsoft is working on and might possibly fix in the near future. I'm going to click Join Now. And it takes a little while to connect, but here we are. I can close the participants. I can open up the chat however I want to monitor this room. I condense them down a little bit smaller when I use them multiple rooms on my screen so that I can manage them and move back and forth between the rooms that I have open. Now, the important thing to remember here is that if I wanted to open all 4 of my breakout rooms, I can only open 4 meetings at a time and keep them open. So I would have to exit out of my general meeting, and then I could open up the Slytherin room. But at this point, Microsoft only allows 4 meetings to be running at the same time. Looking at the student's iPad view, you can see that a blue video camera appears next to their activated rooms when the teacher opens a meeting with a live link. When they see that blue icon, they can go to the chat for the room they would like to open and click the blue Join button. Students can only participate in 1 live meeting at a time. If you would like to go the other route and share an open link to a room with your students, like the one I've shared here to the chat in the Hufflepuff room, right here, one easy way to get an open link is to create a new meeting. So you would go to Meet, Join Now, and once you join to this meeting, the only reason why you're doing this is to get a link. You would go to the 3 dots or the kebab, Meeting Details, and copy Join Info. Once it's copied to the clipboard, then you can leave that meeting and you can share that link in the chat, or it works really nicely if you've created a Canvas course where your students are asked to go to a meeting at a certain time. Here is an example of a distance learning Canvas course page that was created for 5th graders. The students are being asked to follow a daily plan by going to the appropriate digital tools at a scheduled time. The blue Click Here button in this course is linked to an open meeting room in Microsoft Teams. This is just one example of how you could use an open meeting link with your students. The last idea I have to share about giving an open link to a room with your students, and this is if you didn't want to share it in the chat, which might not be a good idea in case it gets lost in the chat shuffle and they can't find it, is you might go to Files and you can create a Word document with the link to your open room in that document. And then you could go to the 3 dots and pin it to the top like we discussed before. That way students can always go to that room and find the open link in the Word document at the top, and they can just click that hyperlink and it would take them to the general meeting room. But again, that's a decision that you and your team and your school will have to make for how you want to run your classroom in this remote learning digital world.